Can we do it?
Tell me about the car. I was like, this sounds like good podcast content. You wait till Tuesday morning and you tell me about this car.
Okay, right. So it was a year since we got engaged. It was so exciting. And obviously, it's the only anniversary we'll have of it before we get married. So I was like, you did the proposal. Let me plan a little getaway.
Aw.
And I was planning a million different bits and pieces originally because we're going down to Brighton on the Friday for Chloe's 30th on the Saturday. And
Yeah.
the anniversary was on the Sunday. So I said, on Sunday, we'll go somewhere from Brighton and it'll be a nice little surprise trip. I was thinking maybe we'd fly somewhere because we have to go through Gatwick anyway. But then obviously the heat has been so intense everywhere. I was
Yeah.
like, maybe we'll stay here. So
Yeah.
I was looking at a whole bunch of different options and I said, right, we're going to go to Oxford. There's this really cool hotel called the Crazy Bear.
Oh, cool.
There's one in Standhampton, which is like less than half an hour from Oxford Centre. So I was between going to one of the Crazy Bears and going to Oxford or going to do this vineyard in Dorking. And I was like, well, if we're doing the vineyard, obviously I'm not going to drive. So through the jigs and the reels, looking at different train prices and everything, I said, let's just rent a car. Rent a car, drive to Brighton. We can go down for a swim in the morning. Then we can be in our wet clothes, driving down to Oxford, lovely chats in the car, plan
Yeah.
everything out. We'll stay in this hotel that's half an hour from Oxford, which we wouldn't have stayed in if we didn't have the car, because why would you stay so far from the city unless you had a car to drive so you could go in and out?
Yeah.
I leave the house at 2:30. It is so hot. I go up to the address on booking.com where it said to collect the car. And it says we are in the Hilton Hotel on Edgware Road. So I'm like, okay, great. So I'm in the Hilton Hotel, cannot find it. I'm thinking, okay, obviously it has a desk somewhere in the Hilton. So I'm kind of in different queues to chat to different people. And eventually someone was like, oh no, it's actually out and around the corner. So I was like, okay, it's not in the hotel. It is near the hotel. Fine.
Yeah.
So I'm about 15 minutes late. The door is locked. And it says, yeah. And it says, if
No.
you need anyone, call this number. So I was like, okay, this is
Sorry.
annoying.
Also, you're 15 minutes late, 1-5.
1-5. 1-5.
Okay.
Maybe 18. Maybe 18
Okay.
at this point.
I'm going to round it up to 20. You're 20 minutes late.
Maybe 20 minutes late. So I say, right, I call the man. I say, I'm outside. And he was like, okay, I'll be there in a second. And I was like, okay, great. 15 minutes go by.
Yeah.
No one is there. It is so hot. I'm standing in this baking sun waiting for this man. And then
my God.
eventually he rocks up and he's like, oh, you're joking. He locked the door.
What?
And I was
Sorry,
like,
also,
excuse me?
stress that this was just to stress this was business hours. It's not like you rocked up
Right,
at
this
7 p.m.
is 3:18 p.m.
Yeah.
Maybe 17:18 p.m. They should give you a grace period, but whatever, they weren't. Your man rocks down and goes,
Yeah.
oh, you're joking. You locked the door. And I was like, okay, well, do you have a key? And he goes, no, well, I didn't know he locked it. And I was like, well, do you think I'm standing outside in the sun for a bit of crack? Like, obviously, I couldn't
Yeah.
get in. That's why I called.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be in there. And he was like, oh, I'll give him a call to get him to come down. And I said, well, is he nearby? Because at this point, remember, I'd already spent 15 minutes trying to figure out where it was. Now I've spent 15 minutes waiting. And I had a call that I had to be on at 5 o'clock. And I was
Shit.
like, right, we're pushing it really, really close now. It's going to take me an hour to drive back.
Oh,
Is he
fuck.
on the way? And he said, well, he's just down the road. And I was like, well, you were just down the road and you took fucking 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I was like, right, okay. I said, no, okay, no problem. Waiting there. Another 15 minutes rolls by. Then this lad rocks up and he's like, oh, sorry about the wait. And I was like, right, it's grand. And he was like, oh, did your man talk to you? Did he explain everything to you? And I said, no. And he was like, right, okay.
Because also, it's not like it's a quick transaction with renting a car. There's always a rigmarole and
faff.
Yeah.
Faff. Also, let me just preface this. They sent me, and I documented this to Tim because I couldn't get over how many emails they were sending me in a day. Before it even turned 8:30 in the morning, I got 3 emails from them reminding me that I had a reservation, and it kept changing the time between 3 o'clock, half 3, 3 o'clock, half 3, 3 o'clock,
No
half
way.
3.
Weird.
Loads. It was back and forth. Again, 3 emails before 8:30 in the morning. I was like, this place. Like, I
Yeah.
was bombarded by them constantly. So I was already kind of annoyed with the spam. And they kept asking me to do an online check-in so I wouldn't have to check in person. So I was like,
Okay.
I've done
Yeah.
your online check-in. Grand. It's
Yeah.
all done. I've put in all the documents. So in theory, I should just get my keys. So
Yeah.
anyway, he's like, oh, come on. And he opens up the door. And then he goes, yeah, just, normally when people are late, like we kind of just tend to go back to the office. And I said, hang on the fuck now. First of all,
Yeah.
you don't need to, I'm pissed off that I've been waiting half an hour for you guys. You don't need to try to be like, well, you were late as well because you've pissed me off.
Yeah.
Secondly, I was 15 minutes late. You should have given someone a grace period. And thirdly, the address is wrong. And I was like, oh no, it said that the address was in the Hilton Hotel. And he was like, oh, what? No, we moved out of there 3 months ago.
Oh my God.
And I said, that's fine that you did. I actually don't work for you. Funnily enough, this is
Yeah.
the first time I'm coming here. And he was like, well, did you not get he was like, oh, we have our address on the emails. And I was like, well, I booked through booking.com. So I have the address in booking.com. And he was like,
Yeah.
that's booking.com though. And I was like, they're your
Like, no.
suppliers. Like,
That's like, surely that's their listing on booking.com. Like, they clearly need to update their listing on booking.com, I would assume.
thank you. I was just like, right, okay, that's kind of annoying. At this point, I was like, right, okay, that's fine. Look, it's grand. I'm really under time pressure now. I've been waiting outside for 30 minutes. It's so hot. I've no water. I just want to get the car so I can go.
Also, who knows what the hell traffic is going to be like?
At least an hour. At least an hour. I'd already messaged your man at this point being like, look, I
Yeah.
might be 5 minutes late to this. Blah, blah. I was like, right, okay, let's go. And then he was like, okay, cool. So let's start the check-in. And I was like, I already checked in online thanks to your million emails.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, no, but one of the documents wasn't approved. So we have to do the whole thing again. And I was like,
What?
okay, you sent me 3 emails before 8:30 in the morning reminding me of the time going back and forth between half an hour, which to be fair, you could argue that because I got
You
those
weren't
emails, I was actually 15 minutes early.
Yeah, I was going to say, they kept changing the time. They were telling you 3:30.
Exactly. So if you can do that, you can't email me to say that one of the documents wasn't approved. And so then I had to go and find another bank statement to show them that I am who I say I am. And he was like, okay, grand. And then we had to do the whole, so like passports, IDs, everything, the whole thing again.
For fuck's sake.
And obviously it was taking ages. And I was like, look, I was like, I'm really sorry. Just I'm under a lot of time pressure now. Like, do you have any idea? And he was like, yeah, no, we're getting there. And what do you think about maybe this car instead? This is a nicer car. It's a better feel. And I was like, stop trying to upsell me. I want the car I got. I don't want another one. And he was like, this is a better car. And I said, no, I picked this car in particular because it has a really short nose, and so many cars, they don't go high up, and I can't see over the bonnet of the car. So I want it to have a nose where I can see where I'm going. And then he was trying to upsell me on my insurance, and I was like, I don't want insurance. I have the insurance I have. I don't need more insurance. And he was like, well, if you do crash the car. I said, look, I'm not planning on actually crashing the car. I'm not. Please,
I don't plan to.
And I get he has to do this, but also I'm like, dude, like he's going so slow. They were like, I get that I was 15 minutes late.
No. Read the room. No.
But also,
or 15 minutes early.
Or 15 minutes early. Like between the two of them, it took them half an hour to let me in. I was kind of like, come on.
Yeah.
And then he was like, right, okay, so I need the card to take the deposit. I said, no problem. So I handed him my debit card, and he was like, I need a credit card.
Oh, I knew this was coming. Oh no.
And I was like, I don't have a credit card. And he said, oh, you left it at home. And I said, no, I physically do not own a credit card.
Yeah.
And he was like, which I am going to apply for one right fucking now.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, I thought it was a good thing not to have a line of credit. I was like, I don't have one. And he was like, I can't take a debit card.
They can.
No, he said, I can't. He said, I can't take a debit card. It takes too long to take the deposit.
Oh,
and I was like,
usually they can just take a big old deposit. Only
that's what I said. I was like, I'll just pay you. I'll pay you the money. And then you have the receipt, and then I'll get the refund for it. It's fine. And he was like, it takes too long. I cannot release the car. I can't give it to you.
How does it take too long?
Apparently the banks don't approve it on time.
I don't believe that.
Like, he was like, I can't do it. And then he was like, if you upgrade to this car and you do this and you do that, then we'll take a smaller deposit and we could do that. But then that car was like an extra 300 quid. And I was like, well, no, because then I may as well get the trains. It's not worth this to me now to drive and do all that sort of stuff. I've wasted so much time. And I was sitting there and I was like, you know, when you're just so hot and so tired and so angry and you just kind of want to cry.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you fucking joking me? Like, I was standing outside in the heat for over half an hour, running around the extra 15 minutes. So 45 minutes, I'm finally there. He says I can't take the fucking car. And I think he was a little bit like, I'm so sorry. Like, you could just tell I was not having it. And he was like,
Oh.
if you email booking.com, like, they'll try sort of refund for you. And I was like, you can actually just fuck off. Like, I obviously didn't say that. I said, thank you so much for your time. And I politely left. But I was
I was like, I was there
I was like,
imagining you just being so polite through this whole interaction, just being, don't worry about it. I know.
And then I got outside, I called Tim, and I was like, I got ruined our anniversary.
Oh,
he was like,
sir.
it's fine, just get home, get on the call. And then I'm like sprinting home. The call I thought was going to be half an hour max. It ended up being nearly 2 hours. So I was there like sweating, and then did the call. I was like, right, let's get to Brighton. Let's figure out how we can go. And I was looking at other car rental company. It didn't make sense. I was like, let's just get the train. We'll go down. Then we have all the bags. Cause remember I packed being like, we have a car. Sure. I'll throw some extra pair of shoes in there. You know, like you got to bring in more stuff when you have the car. So we're loading everything up the train station. And then I was like, oh, my foot is a bit weird. I look at the bottom of my shoe. My shoe split in half.
Oh my God.
I'll show you a picture.
I think you sent me a picture actually. It's the sole is like split.
The sole of the little kind of like platform Birkenstock kind of shoes.
Yeah.
The sole is genuinely just splits in two. No idea how. I don't know where it came from. I was like, sure. Okay, yeah, no, my shoe's broken.
Of course my shoe's broken.
No problem.
Yeah.
Then get to Brighton, and I was like, bad thing comes in threes. I was like, what's going to be the third thing the entire way there? I was like, what's it going to be? What's it going to be?
What's it going to be?
And I can't decide which one it is. I feel like I chipped my buy app. I said, that's not it. That's not on level. That's annoying.
You can accept that. I would accept that as bad thing number 3.
I couldn't accept it.
Oh,
the next thing I got to Brighton. I was like, I'm going to go to the loo before we go, sit down, get my period. I was like, it feels natural. But also, it wasn't bad thing number 3 because I just said I knew the period was coming. This isn't a twist of fate. Period.
We're used to these things.
We are, but I'm still annoyed about it.
It's annoying. Yeah.
Explain why I was hot and sweaty and near to tears.
No.
Car rental
the sun, the heat, and the feckin' late men. I blame them.
Stupid men. And anyway, we get on the bus, and we're sitting on the bus on the last leg to Katie's house, and this drunk chick gets on, stumbling her way through the bus, and she just whacks me in the head with her elbow. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh.
I was like, ow. And I turned around to be like, you hit me on the head. And then she was like,
no, God.
Nice. I was like, that's it. That's bad thing number 3.
Okay. We're taking that. It's like, I thought you were going to go, but still, that was not bad thing number 3.
No, I think that was bad thing number 3. And then, so the next day, because I was annoyed that I didn't get the car, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to drink way more than I ever would have because I don't have to drive.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Hello and welcome to Let Me Ask My Sister, the podcast where we overthink life so you don't have to. We're your hosts, Aoife and
Sorcha. So pull up a seat, siblings, and let me ask you this.
All right, shall we get into our listener email? We've got one that I feel like you are going to have some thoughts about.
Shall I read? I've been known to have a thought or two.
You have. Dear Aoife and Sorcha, I found your pod through the TikTok of you guys showing how you get out of the shower and have not stopped laughing since. Thank you. We thought it was funny.
You're welcome.
Myself and my boyfriend are at a bit of a standstill and I'm wondering if you could help. We're 31 and 32 respectively, have been together nearly 7 years and know we'll be together forever. Like everyone else our age, we have been working so hard to save. We've skipped holidays, lived at home, and finally have enough to start either looking for a house or get married. My boyfriend thinks we're mad to get engaged and spend that much money on a wedding before we get a house, but I don't think he's thinking things through of how long it could take to buy. All our friends were engaged for at least 1.5 to 2 years because of how far in advance you have to book your venue these days. Plus, we could be ages looking for a house before we get one, and then could end up being sale agreed for 6 months. I don't want to put the rest of our lives on hold just because we're buying in a housing crisis. How do I help him see where I'm coming from on this? Single and in want of a big shiny rock." And on. Um,
That's tough.
yeah, that's a hard one.
I'd be exactly the same though. I'd be exactly the same. I could see maybe not wanting to necessarily plan the wedding because you're right. It's a lot of money to spend on a party when you don't have a house. I get that. I'm doing it currently.
Yeah.
Is it a right decision? Who the fuck knows?
Mm.
But it doesn't mean you can't do it at the same time. And like, I
Yeah.
could see her point of maybe, I think, I don't know if you ever want to compromise when it comes to engagements or whatever, but maybe just getting engaged is a nice step. So you can get
Yep.
engaged, kind of plan the wedding, but you don't really have to pay for it until
Yeah.
2 years' time.
Yeah. 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 It's a tricky one. So, okay. So obviously you were doing the wedding before buying the house because that is the
Yes.
traditional line. You know, you get married and then you buy a house, right?
Yeah, which actually doesn't make that much sense if you really think about it.
I mean, look, you don't need to follow any kind of traditional lines and you don't need to
That's true.
follow any kind of traditional time frames. And I totally get where you're coming from. I know what you're saying about thinking out the timeline of, I'd imagine you're kind of thinking forward to having kids. Maybe you're not, but kind of thinking through how long all these things can take. But nothing needs to look a certain way. So, first of all, you don't have to have a big giant wedding, you know?
Such a good point. You do not.
And you don't have to have a house before you have kids. Look at us. Like, sure, Owen was nearly 40 when we bought this house. Like, you don't have to have, and we had the 2 kids already. You don't have to have everything all set up. I will say, would have been great. Would have been lovely to have bought our house and be settled and not have to move with kids and all that. But look, you make it work. It's fine.
I will preface this with saying your advice to me when you were in the middle of doing this move.
I remember.
Now, Aoife did, I will say, like fucking crazy. Like you just had your youngest and then you were like, we're moving back
Yeah.
to Ireland. Like it was a fast move, which maybe, you could, if you were to do it again, maybe wait a little bit longer.
Well, but you can't because like if we weren't going to move without having a job, with one of us having a job. So Owen had a job, and so
True.
you can't have the perfect timeline all the time. It doesn't exist. So
That's so true.
if you don't, because sometimes you just have to go with what's working and what's put in your path. And trust that it's going to work out. But yes, I know what you're going to say. Go on.
She was so tired, bless you, and you'd like moved not only from London but like into Owen's parents' house, and then you moved to another rented accommodation. Then you were looking for a house, and you were like, and I moved to London, and you were like, do not do what I did. Come home, buy, then have your children. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. This is awful.
I will say,
like, whoa, I probably won't, but thank you.
It's a logistical nightmare. Obviously the house, like, not made any easier by the housing crisis or the fact that it's hard to find childcare. But look, look, everything isn't going to be perfect.
Yeah.
It is a logistical nightmare, but it works out. Well, it worked out for us.
Well, if you give anything time, it will. Like,
Yeah.
it absolutely will. And you could do the thing of maybe you buy a bit of a smaller house or a bit more of a fixer-upper, and then move later on, which has its own pain points. Or
Yeah.
you spend all of the money on a house and then start from scratch for the wedding. Or, like if you've been working this hard to save and do the house and all that kind of jazz, like if you kind of have the amount of money you need now to either get married or do the house, if you are looking at, as you said in the email, around 1.5 to 2 year engagement, like ours is nearly a 2 year engagement. Our other friends are about over 2 years for one, nearly 2.5 for another, about 1.5 for another. Like they are, I don't know anyone who's gotten married a year after they got engaged, purely because they couldn't, like there's just nowhere available to get married.
Yeah,
which is hilarious. It's
Yeah.
just not a
Well, I
thing.
mean, it depends.
You could.
It depends
Sorry,
where you want your wedding to
absolutely
be.
could.
Like you can have your wedding in a totally different location than the typical wedding venues.
Sorry, you are so right. If you want to do kind of the traditional blueprint Irish wedding
Yeah.
in the kind of traditional, more popular venues, you are looking at on a weekend, you are looking at that waiting period. But I will say that could work in your favor.
Oh, go on. Wait, I was just going to ask because you were kind of toying with the idea of an abroad wedding. Did you find
Yes.
the waiting time that long as well when you were looking abroad?
It was a mix. It was a mix. There were some places that had availability for the following year. No questions asked. Really, really chill, really easy. And then the same thing, more popular venues are going to be booked up a little bit more in advance.
Yeah.
And it depends on how big you want the wedding. Like, as in, look, we're doing this wedding, we're into it now. There's no point changing our minds about it. But as more of our friends have gotten engaged, people are doing different weddings. Like, I do think for you, our lovely listener, the 2 year engagement would work out in your favor because it could take you like 2 years to save for the wedding is perfect. Just whatever you can save in whatever you have now, be like, okay, let's put it on our deposit. And then whatever we save in the next 2 years can go towards a wedding. And it might mean maybe you have a smaller one, but maybe you'll have a bigger one. You don't know how you're going to do in the next 2 years financially. It
Well,
could be
that's it.
extremely rewarding.
Yeah.
So I think that does work in your favor. I can see where the boyfriend is coming from. In the same breath, though, is he throwing you off the scent?
Oh, maybe.
Mm?
Maybe. I remember Owen and I having this chat before we got engaged. So we were talking about buying a house and
Yes. I forgot about this.
yeah. So yeah, we had chatted about it a good bit. He was really he really wanted to get a house. I remember one of the girls told me afterwards that she had said, "When are you going to when are you going to propose?" And he was and he had told her, "Oh, I just really want to get the house first." Anyway, we had lots of chats as you do when you're like our listener said, they know they're going to be together forever. You have these discussions that you see your lives together. And
Mm.
I guess honestly, I see buying a house together as a much bigger commitment than getting married.
Oh, yeah, you're
Like,
financially tied.
yeah, exactly. It's a lot. Actually, I don't know how easy or difficult it is to untangle either of those situations, but I imagine untangling the house is probably a lot less straightforward. Or yeah, kind of
Mm.
dividing any kind of property. Um, so yeah, so that these are the kind of things that we discussed. I was saying I think that it's a bigger commitment to buy a house. I would rather be married and decide that we're going to commit to each other before we make that commitment of buying a house. I didn't feel ready to buy until we were married.
What a line. I'm just not ready. Put a ring on
Just
it.
yeah, I just don't feel like we're committed.
Okay, give that a go. I
Yeah,
really like that one. I think that would really work. Um, Also, because I think an important thing for you to think about our lovely little sibling
a
is
lovely
to
little
think about
sibling.
our lovely
I
little
love that
sibling.
line.
We were saying listener, and I was like, oh no, wait, we call them siblings. But do think about what you want that wedding to look like, because I think from we're
Mm,
just presuming that you're happy to kind of do whatever you can afford, and I feel like that is kind of your vibe just by that email. But if you are thinking you're, kind of Monica Geller when she got engaged to Chandler, I
mm,
want to blow everything on the wedding and he has it earmarked
yeah,
for the future and stuff. I think maybe you need to relook at what your wedding could be, because it's so easy to get caught up in the swing of, well, okay, 3 grand on flowers, the photographer is at least four, dresses these days are soaring up in prices. Like,
yeah,
there are a myriad of different ways how you could be 100K in the hole like that. Like, it's
yeah.
so easy.
It's like
Um,
anything. Like,
it's exactly same with the house. Like, you
yeah,
can just get so wrapped up in it. I know, obviously, if you get the deposit, then there's filling the house with stuff and all the things that comes along with
yeah.
it.
Well, it's like the stuff, you can because we're looking at getting a new kitchen and we were going to price it up and the guy was like, look, you can get a kitchen for like 20 grand or you can get a kitchen for 100 grand. You can spend the money if you want to. You can have all these like little bells and whistles. The exact same with the wedding. Like you can go highest end photographer, videographer, all of that, get all these tiny little details, or there are ways that you can have a really similar overall picture, but just More budget friendly, perhaps.
More budget friendly, and
Mm.
figure out what it is that you want. So as in there are some venues. I actually have a TikTok series on this, so go ahead to my TikTok,
Yes.
circa.morgan, and have a look at all the venues. Send me a DM if you want to say who you are. I lovely. What did you say your name was?
Single and in want of a big shiny rock.
So if you want to single and in want of a big shiny rock, do send me a DM, because there's so many options. Like one of them off the top of my head, Crover House, maybe wouldn't have been. It has a bit more of a hotel vibe to it than like a house vibe to it, and a house vibe
Okay.
was what we were looking for, which is why we
Yeah.
didn't go with it. But the grounds are gorgeous. You got everything in there, like a rake of booze, all your food, all in for 150 people was 16K, and that was like option A across the board, like just
Yeah.
so much stuff, and you would have to do hardly anything on top of it.
Yeah.
Then so you could do something like that, or if you wanted, like a friend of mine, she's getting married at this really cool venue in Dingle, and she's not doing a sit down meal. So rather
Oh,
than your sit down, it's like, I think it's like kind of supper bowls going around, like everyone's properly fed,
okay.
but
Yeah.
because it's not sit down, there's also free pouring booze throughout the
Yeah.
entire wedding, which is great. The band is included. The day two is included. Booze on the
Wow.
day two is also there as well. And all in all, it's under 17K for
Whoa.
everything, for both days. Yeah. And I go,
That's
again, I know
incredible.
this is. I know this is a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you compare it to others, like obviously having a big sit down dinner, that's what, I don't know what the average is, but I think back in my day it was about 135 a head. And that includes a
yeah,
half bottle of wine and yeah, your starter, main course, dessert, and a toast drink. So,
toast drink was good. Yeah.
it's not like 135 a head works out at, actually I don't know the maths, but you know what I mean?
A good, no, works roughly
Yeah.
the same. You're looking at around that,
Yeah.
what, like 15, 16 grand wedding, but that's just for the
Mm.
one. Whereas you could get the day two with all the
That's
flowers, all the
it.
stuff. There are options there for you. So if you're
Yeah.
have a think about what you want to do, and then have a look at options out there. Because also I know loads of people who are doing smaller weddings, smaller dinners with like 50 people, and then everyone else comes for the afters, and it's a big piss up for the afters.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
another thing that you could do as well. Like there are,
Yeah. There's lots of options.
yeah.
I do think that maybe we're giving her a few options that are in the next step, because she
Yeah,
first
sorry.
needs to get
We're like,
engaged.
let's just plan the wedding for you.
Yeah.
What did you actually want? Advice? Don't have any of that.
Can I offer you a piece of cheese?
Okay, what's your advice for her then?
Well, I was going to say, I actually interpreted the email slightly different than you. So I thought
Oh.
it's to me, it kind of sounds like she does want a big wedding. I thought that, and that's why they've been saving. So she wants the big wedding with all the bells and whistles, and they have that money now. Look, it is hard, especially when you think about how difficult it can be to buy a house in. Well, actually, I don't know if you're looking in Dublin.
Anywhere though.
Yeah, look, the whole of Ireland is in a housing crisis.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, knowing how difficult it is, it can be hard. Also, how expensive it is to buy a house. It can be hard to part with the money. So, because I remember again when we were going down the route of looking at the kind of blueprint Irish wedding, we did kind of stop and think, like, do we want to spend this much money? Is this what we want? Like, this is a lot of money that could go towards the deposit in a house. And I actually asked our brother, because you hear it kind of chatted about that people regret spending that much money on a wedding on one day before they've bought their house. And I asked him, and he said, oh God, if I could get that money now and have it towards the if I could have put that money towards the house, then yeah, I absolutely would have done it.
It's easier said than done though. Like
so much easier said
he
than
wouldn't
done.
change the day.
No, they had the big day as well. And we also since had this conversation again. So after Owen's brother got married, I was saying, like, it's just that I was like chatting to him saying it's just the happiest day ever, and like you guys are just like so happy. Like, nobody can prepare you for how happy you are on that day. It is genuinely like the happiest day of your life. I remember saying the happiest day of your life won't prepare you for it. I remember saying this to one of my friends, and she said it to me on her wedding day. She was like, I'm just so happy. And I know you told me that I would be, but I know what you were saying, that I couldn't prepare myself to be this happy.
You said this so
Um,
often that now I'm like, what if I'm not happy? What if I'm,
it's
what if I'm
like
so stressed the entire day?
it's like when people tell you that like nothing can prepare you for the love that you're going to feel for your baby when it's born. And when my babies were born, I was just like dead from labor. It's like obviously very happy that my baby was there, safe and all that, but I didn't get that like big rush of love the second our eyes locked. I was like very happy, obviously, but
Yeah.
it took me a few days to get that big rush of love. I was like, oh God, what's wrong with me? Where is this big rush of love?
You're like, oh, it's here.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
100%.
Oh no.
You just pushed a human
Yeah.
out of your body.
I did say this to a few people because I was like, is there something wrong with me? And then they assured me that the rush of love does come a few days later for some of us. But anyway, sorry. I was saying, I was talking to Owen's brother, and he was saying that he was just the happiest guy in the whole world the days of his wedding. And then I was relaying this back to our brother and saying like, oh, like is spending money on a wedding silly? And he was again saying yes. And then I was like, but it is like, it's just the happiest day ever. And nothing nothing else compares to how happy you are on that day. I have no regrets on spending that money on our wedding. No, we didn't buy a house for many, many years afterwards. But that was also logistics.
Yeah. So this is the thing. If you did end up buying before you got married and then Owen got that job offer, you would have had to either sell or rent it. It would have been...
Actually, would have been
and you
so
would have been
ideal.
like,
It would have been so ideal. Then we would have had somewhere to move
oh
back
my God,
to.
sorry. Yes, you would have bought at the right time.
Yeah.
Oh, you fool.
But
buy
we
the house.
But we would have bought a much smaller house. I mean, I don't know where we would have
but then you
bought.
sold it and you would have bought another house now.
Yeah, it would have been ideal.
Yeah.
Would have been great if we had bought before we moved.
Shoulda,
But
woulda,
laugh,
coulda.
we did
And this
not.
is a very different situation though, because, well, you're not planning on moving, our lovely little sibling. But also,
Neither was I.
another thing that, sorry, yeah. Another thing that you said in the email that, and you kind of picked up on it at the beginning, you said 31 and 32 respectively. If you are thinking big wedding, all the bells and whistles, and you are planning to have children, did she mention if she wants kids or not?
Actually, don't know. Can't remember.
If she didn't, then maybe this isn't for her, to be fair.
No, she says rest of our lives. Just mention kids. Oh, I've just assumed.
You know what they say about when you assume, Aoife. But so okay, maybe you don't want kids, and that's totally fair. But if you do want kids and you are thinking, okay, well, if we're not going to get engaged until we get the house, you're right. It could take you a year to get into this house if you're lucky. It could take you longer. You just don't know. Then it's another 2-year engagement on top of that. Would you find a biological pressure to have kids, or are you happy to get married when you already have kids? Would you be happy to get married if you're pregnant? Like, these are other conversations to have as well, because I think like that was definitely a huge thing for us. So when we went traveling about 2 years after we were originally meant to, because of COVID. So kind of felt on the back foot a little bit there. Then was already on the back foot because I dropped out of college and reapplied. So I was already a year later and I did a 4-year degree. So one of my friends came back from after 2 years of traveling, and I hadn't even gone yet. So you know, you do kind of feel, I was like, oh shit. And that definitely I think that's the reason why we came home, was because I was like, oh, you know, well, we're at this stage now, maybe we should be home, which is so silly. Like, that's ridiculous. But when you're in it, it feels a little bit different.
Yeah. It's the same.
So
it's the same with buying a house. Like, once people start to buy a house, you feel, oh, I should probably buy a house now too. When people around you start doing the thing, you feel the pressure to do the thing.
And which makes total sense. And you do have to go on your own timeline. But I think it does track for the two of you to go on, like, either a really big walk or, you know, sit at home, crack open a bottle of wine, like, have a big chat about what you actually see for the next 5 years, what it looks like. Would both of you be happy if you are planning a family together, like trying while planning a wedding? Or would you be happier to, you know, get engaged and then be saving for a wedding and do a smaller wedding, get a smaller, whatever it looks like, figure out how it looks, what you're happy with it, what are each of your really big deal breakers and then
Yeah.
meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Because exactly. That big walk and talk, looking forward into 5 years into the future, what that looks like, is a great
Mm.
conversation to have.
And so fun because it's like, oh, it could be
Yeah.
scary, but also
Yeah.
I feel like when we get bored and maybe a little bit like, sometimes people are a little bit annoyed at life and everything is a little bit irritating.
Yeah.
There's always people like in the office or wherever who just everything is
Yeah.
just, ugh.
Yes.
I think when you're like, so many people just came to mind. People who are like that, I find, haven't maybe done a change or a risk in a little bit. Like, I think we
Mhm.
can get bored in the comfortable. So even
Totally.
if you're thinking, I mean, look at us starting this podcast, for God's sake. Talk
Mhm.
about being out of your comfort zone. But
Yeah.
just like the next 5 years might not look like how your friends' lives are going now, who are engaged in buying houses or whatever. But they could be dead bored. They're after doing it all, and you've got it all ahead of you. Like, how
Yeah,
exciting is
exactly.
that? You still get to plan the wedding. You get to get the house and decorate and do all these bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And push comes to shove, like 8, 9, 10 years down the line, you're all going to be in the exact same place anyway.
Yeah.
So who cares how you got there?
Exactly. Exactly. So our advice, have the future chat
Big chat.
and yeah, tell him that you're not ready to commit until you have a ring on it.
Big, massive diamond
Yes.
ring. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Big
yeah,
shiny rock.
yeah. Yeah. Another thing, if you do think, see, the thing, we're imagining that he's very receptive. I'd imagine he'd be receptive to it.
Yeah.
If he's not, I mean, I could have a serious conversation because there is a thing in my head going, is he planning an engagement? And I think if that's the case, maybe like, look, we need to have this conversation. And he does not want to tell you that the plan
Yeah.
is, I think like everyone kind of knows though. Look, have the conversation, see how you get on. Worst comes to worst, talk to like one of your friends about it and they can kind of prod and poke him and see what the
Yeah.
story
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Try and get those mutual friends. Get some of the couple friends that you have. Get some of the girls to poke at him. Be like,
Yeah.
put a ring on it.
And get the guys to be like, I love being married. Oh, it's so wonderful being married. Oh, we have the secret to tell you, but I can't tell you till you're married. Like all these little.
The wedding day is the most happiest day of your life.
Oh, I'd take the wedding day over the house anytime. Well, are you reading, watching, or listening to anything?
No, yeah, I do. I've got a good podcast recommendation. It's from Shameless. If you've ever listened to their podcast, I really like
Yes.
it. It's a good one. But in their archive, so I'm only a recent listener to their pod, but I was searching for the song Clara Bow by Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a two-part series on Clara Bow going back to before Tortured Poets Department was released. So if you're unfamiliar, Clara Bow is a song by Taylor Swift. It was on her album The Tortured Poets Department, and actually I don't know if most artists do this, but like she releases the track names about 2 weeks before she releases the album itself. So this podcast is recorded before her album actually dropped, and I don't remember this at the time. I don't know if you do, Cirques, but apparently people were scrambling, wondering who the hell is Clara Bow and why is there a song about her on this album? Do you remember that?
Not really.
No. Anyway, neither did I. But people were, of course, they were. Anyway,
Taylor
so
Swift.
there's yeah, exactly. So it's a 2 episode special digging into the life of Clara Bow. So Clara Bow was a movie star back in the silent movie era. And the two podcasts talk all about her life, her early life growing up. So she grew up in Brooklyn, and how she became a movie star, her life as a movie star, and all the different relationships she had, along the way. It kind of reminded me somewhat of
Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Yes, exactly that.
That's
I love that you got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She was a silent movie star, wasn't she? Evelyn Hugo? In that
I
era?
think she was in the talkies.
Oh, was
But
she in the
maybe she
talkies?
would have done. Maybe she would have done some silent movies.
Well,
Is this an old Hollywood actor? I don't think it is.
well, Clara Bow, her career took her into the start of the talkies.
Mm,
Yeah.
maybe
what
it
was
is.
I thought was fascinating about Clara Bow is that this is where the phrase "it girl" comes from. She is the original it girl. There was a
Okay.
movie there was a movie that she is in called It, and It is all about. So I, when I was listening to that pod, I
The clown.
instantly went to that scary clown movie. I was like, ah,
Yes.
it's the original
Ah.
It. No, it's not that. So It is the cool girl and like the cool things and you're looking to have it. And so Clara Bow's character in this movie has it, and she is the it girl. And that is where that phrase came from.
I love that.
Yeah,
Oh, so she's that. Well, I feel like we should give her more credit.
I know. Well,
We should know her.
what's really a shame, I suppose, is that all of those old movies like the silent era movies, they haven't been preserved in Hollywood, so a lot of them are lost, so a
Oh
lot of her
gosh,
footage is
yeah.
completely lost.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I must go listen to that. That sounds really fascinating.
Yeah, it was a good two-parter, and I did instantly think, oh, I'm not going to listen to these two whole episodes, but I was hooked.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And if you're just finding this podcast, now you know to go back and listen to all of our other podcasts because you never know the level of golden nuggets you might find there. They could taste yeehaw. Do you remember golden nuggets?
Golden
Cereal?
nuggets. Oh my days, I do. Do you remember that? Yeehaw!
They taste a yeehaw. Yeah, so
Yeah.
good. They're my treat cereal in the summer.
Oh,
Oh
mine was
boy.
Cocoa Pops. I bought the boys
Nice.
there's Pokemon chocolate something or other, and I had my oldest was with me in Dunn's a couple of weeks ago, and he saw that. He's like, "Ah, it's Pokemon food. We need to buy Pokemon food because Pokemon apparently eat Pokemon." I don't know. I don't
Course
know.
they
I don't
do.
understand that
Yeah.
well.
They eat something
Anyway,
that you can buy.
yeah. And anyway, so when we got home, Owen was like, "What are you doing buying that?" I was like, "Because it's the summer, and in the summer you buy the treat cereal."
This was a rule that our mother set that you see we have kept
Yeah.
into our adult lives. It's true.
Some traditions should live on, and summer
like
treat
it.
cereal is one.
It's gotta be it. It's gotta be it.
And anyway, what are you reading, watching, listening to?
Oh, I watched yesterday Ready or Not 2.
Okay.
Have you heard of Ready or Not?
I feel like I remember it. It's a scary thing, right?
It's a scary film. It is on Disney.
Yeah.
And your man Seth from the OC is in it. So
Yeah,
that's
and
fun.
Dakota Fanning?
No.
Oh, okay. Go on.
So it's about this woman who marries into this really wealthy family.
Okay.
And after the wedding, they play a game. That's how they've made their fortune off board games.
Oh,
So
yes.
their family tradition is they pick a card and that card will determine what game they play.
Okay.
And the bride is like, okay, haha. And she picks hide and seek. And that is the bad card because this wealthy family has made a deal with the devil that I know that's how they've got all their wealth. And if anyone draws the hide and seek card, the family have to hunt and kill the new person into their family.
That is so messed up.
It's crazy. And then so she's like, we're playing hide and seek. Okay, whatever. And everyone like the room shifts. There's loads of tension. And then she kind of discovers that they're trying to murder her. And all she has to do is survive until dawn. So then the whole first film is just about her surviving till dawn.
Okay.
So spoiler alert, because there is a second one. She survives. But it's such a good film. It's so funny. It's so interesting. And the second one is kind of the aftermath of what happens. Sounds kind of silly, but like it's gruesome. It's really good though. It's such an interesting premise. I think anything to do with like really stupid wealthy people and weddings, you have me hooked. I'm your target audience.
I mean, that does sound like such a good, and also it's a real conspiracy theory kind of one, which we've been chatting about conspiracy theories for a long time. I feel like it'd be a fun episode to bring you guys.
We gotta do it. We gotta get
Yeah.
those tinfoil hats out because
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm so into one right now. It's about dragons. I'll put a pin in it.
I'm already bought out.
No, dragons are real, and I'll tell you why on another episode.
Okay.
But for now, you've got to go get your kids, and I'm going to go to this gym
Yeah.
session. So I'll call you back when I
Okey-dokey.
get ready.
Call me back. Bye.
Love you. Bye.